My name is Rabbi Elchonon Zohn. I am the director of the Chevra Kadisha of the Vaad Rabbanim of Queens for over 35 years. I am also the director of the National Association of Chevra Kadisha. This week's Parshat, Parshas Vayechi, offers a very teachable moment to address some of the most difficult topics that deal with end of life. Yaakov Avinu realizes that his days are numbered. As Chazal tell us that Yaakov Avinu was concerned, wanting to make sure that he would have the opportunity to prepare. And so the Gemara in Bava Metzia Daf Pei Zayin Amud Aleph tells us that Yaakov Avinu requested to be sick. Before Yaakov, there is no reference to illness in the Torah, and it was only Yaakov who first asked to be weak and to be sick so that he would know that he would have time to prepare, to make sure that all the things that need to be done would be done. And so he calls Yosef to his bedside, and he says, V'yosisa imadi chesed v'emes al nosip b'reini b'mitzrayim. We all know Rashi's translation that this chesed was unique. It's a chesed that we do with Mesim, and the chesed that we do with Mesim does not expect any chesed to be done in return, certainly by those we are performing the chesed with, which is different from other chesed. But there are many Rishonim and Achronim that deal with chesed v'emes and actually explain it to mean that there are two things. There is chesed and there is emes. There is the chesed that we do to help others, but sometimes that chesed may not be defined by emes. And so what Yaakov is telling Yosef is not only should you bury me and take care of me, and that would be a chesed, but that chesed needs to be defined by emes al nosip b'reini b'mitzrayim. It might have been very logical to bury Yaakov in Mitzrayim itself. Mitzrayim was where his children and grandchildren would be in servitude for many years, going through very, very difficult times. To have Yaakov Avinu there as a place where they could daven, a place where they could find comfort, might have been a big chesed. But emes suggested nosip b'reini b'mitzrayim. And Yaakov was obviously concerned about this even before, when he was told by Hashem, Anochi alcha gam olo, in last week's parsha, that Hashem promised to take him up to Eretz Yisrael. Whether that was something that Yaakov was already concerned with then and wanted to make sure that it would be taken care of, that it would be properly prepared for, or was Ribbono Shel Olam teaching him that you need to think about these things even before. But the point is that Yaakov was taking care of this in a way that was responsible, in a way that would ensure that the best chesed would be done in the most appropriate way. I remember hearing a very beautiful drash from Rav Yosef Grumblatz, the Rav of the Queens Jewish Center for many years, at a Malava Malka of Ezras Torah, where he quoted the famous brisa we say every morning after the Birchas HaTorah. And we list so many beautiful mitzvahs, among them Bikur Cholim and Halvayas Hameis, and making peace among friends. And it ends with Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam. And the simple explanation is that if we were to place all these important and precious mitzvahs on one side of the scale and place Talmud Torah on the other, that Talmud Torah balances out all of these. And we know that Talmud Torah actually balances out all of the mitzvahs in the Torah. Shokol Keneged Kol HaTorah. But what he wanted to say was that Pshat in Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam has another meaning. That for all of these beautiful mitzvahs, we need Talmud Torah to reflect upon them. Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam, they must be opposite all of them and reflect upon them and define them so that we know how these mitzvahs are properly performed. And if we think about it, this is my own, it's not what he said, but if you look at these mitzvahs, you will realize that most of these mitzvahs, if not all of them, are the mitzvahs that we all think we know how to do without looking to Torah. Bikur Cholim, Halvayas Hameis, Kibbut Avayim, making peace. But the truth is that on all of these things, we need Talmud Torah to define them and to teach us not only to do chesed, but to do it with the reflection of Torah's emes, of truth. And so as we ourselves live in a world which has a definition of chesed that is very different perhaps than the definition of Torah's emes. Whether it's dealing with illness where sanctity of life is no longer important, it's quality of life. And you need emes to define how we prepare for illness. And that these questions need the direction of Torah. And when it comes to the inyanim of end of life, where to buy a kever, when to buy a kever, where to be buried, to reach out to people who don't realize the importance of Kfura and make other choices that are certainly very far from emes. These are things that we need to think about. These are things that we need to prepare ourselves for and prepare others for. We need to be mitzvah our families. We need to think about this in advance. And this parsha has the opportunity for us to do so and to teach our balabatim and our communities the importance of these very, very beautiful and vital things. Thank you.